There's a man currently working in the room next to me. He's doing some maintenance on the heater. So if you hear some noises, then that's what it is. So I just wanted to let you know that. But other than that, Saraya offered a WWE GM role chance to wrestle after her deal expired. WWE has massive plans for a new NXT Europe brand. Ronda Rousey faced Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's title at Saturday's Extreme Rules event, and she pitched a thumbtack spot that ultimately got denied. And Cody Rhodes is healing faster than expected, folks. It's time to hit a crossroads into some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. According to a Thursday report from Fightful, Saraya was offered a return to the on-air general manager position by the new WWE creative regime nearly a month after her deal expired in July. The report also stated the higher-ups also mentioned to her that if she ever wanted to return to the ring and wrestle, they would make that happen. It stated the former Page got 3 health checks herself to get clearance to return while WWE didn't have her checked at all. Former Page got 3 health checks herself to get health clearance while WWE didn't have her checked at all. Okay. The Vince McMahon-led regime didn't have interest in bringing her back and wouldn't sign off on X-rays to even explore the opportunity. Jeez Louise. Okay. We have not been able to independently confirm this report, and Saraya has yet to comment on it on social media. She made her surprise debut at AEW Dynamite. We know. Other details from the report. She was informed about WWE non-renewal when the announcement was made publicly and had, quote, surprisingly low deal, and that her ability to commit to outside projects was somewhat restricted. Paul Levesque was reportedly shocked her deal wasn't renewed, and his new regime made an effort to keep her in some form or fashion. The information we've gained is that ultimately the freedom to do outside projects without giving up a cut and other deal terms led to her swinging to AEW. It read. Okay, that's very interesting. It stated the former Page got 3 health checks herself, and then Vince McMahon-led regime didn't even have interest in bringing her back, which, I mean, okay, to a certain extent, on one hand, right, it's like, all right, you had a concussion. What was it? No, it was her neck. And you got, like, seriously injured. And then you're on backstage. And, well, geez, he didn't even bother to, like, clear her, like, medically. He didn't even bother to, but then it's like, if I'm not gonna put you in the ring, right, if I don't have any plans for you, I don't really see a reason to, like, go forward with the process, really. But it's like, you at least want to make sure she's okay. Jeez Louise, man, at least, like, clear her. I mean, even if you're not gonna do anything with her, at least be like, all right, here's the tests, like, go do that and then come back and let me know. And if you're good to go, great. That doesn't necessarily guarantee I have plans for you, but at least you and I have peace of mind knowing that, like, you're all right. Jeez Louise, they didn't even ever check at all. And it's not like, okay, I want to state, okay, for the record, that I don't think that they were doing it out of malice of like, oh, we don't care about you. No, I think it was in the sense of like, we already know that you're like severely debilitated. Not like, how do I put this? We know that you had the neck injury, right? So we know that, like, it's obviously gonna, like, what can I say? It's gonna make you, like, less likely to get in the ring sooner, you know? So it's like, we don't really need, we kind of already know the deal. So what's really the point of, like, clearing you, especially considering the fact that, like, we don't have any plans, so we're just gonna go ahead and just, I mean, it's not like they didn't let her check herself, you know, but if she had to do it out of pocket, then it's like, WWE, come on, you could have compensated for, like, one of them. She was informed about the WWE non-renewal when the announcement was made publicly. I love when they do that. If I'm reading this correctly, it's the same thing where they're like, oh, I didn't even know I was going to be on the card until I found out about it on Twitter. It's like, oh, okay. Had a surprisingly low deal. Yeah, because I assumed, because again, like I was saying, they already knew that she wasn't like, they already knew that she wasn't going to be wrestling or anything. Hold on, I have to. All right. You ever feel like you're about to, like, just start, like, hacking? So you have to, like, preemptively stop yourself. All right. Paul Levesque was reportedly shocked her deal wasn't renewed, and his new regime made an effort to keep her in some form or fashion. So at least Triple H was like, hey, well, hold on, wait. And she's like, no, fam, too slow on the draw, all right? I'm out of here, you know? So I mean, that's pretty much it. That's very interesting, though. That's a very interesting thing to know. Next, WWE has massive plans for new NXT Europe brand. WWE announced NXT Europe as NXT UK is a thing of the past. NXT Europe will reimagine the brand and talent pipeline with with a renewed focus on Europe. What is with reading? Why can't NXT UK has been on hiatus since their Worlds Collide event as well? They released a lot of talent due to this move, and that included even Nigel McGuinness. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE, BT Sport, and other potential partners have big plans for the new brand. Some will take this McGuinness firing as another sign that NXT Europe isn't happening anytime soon. Those in the company say the WWE and BT Sport, as well as new potential broadcast partners in Europe, all have major plans for it. WWE has also released a lot of talent from NXT UK so far. We'll have to see how NXT Europe turns out. This is one of those things where very, very seldom, I didn't use that word correctly, we're not going to hear about NXT Europe like as frequently as we think. It's going to be like it's going to be exactly like the Gable Steveson story, where every now and again you'll get like one article that pops up, and that's about it. Because this is one of those things, okay, so this is one of those things like Gable Steveson where there's a lot of like moving parts, and there's a lot of things that we have to take into consideration, and there's a lot of things that we have to like set up and work around and all that sort of stuff. So it's one of those things that isn't going to happen. It's more than likely not even going to happen this year. It's probably going to happen later, like through the like second half of next year. Like it's one of those things that we're probably not even going to hear about until much, much later, because NXT literally just changed. They literally just rebranded, and they still have the whole colorful palette and everything, but other than that, really what they've done is they like changed the logo, and maybe they're changing the set as we speak. Maybe they are. Maybe they're like doing something with that, but we don't actually know what it is yet, so we'll have to wait and see, just like NXT Europe. But I mean, again, it's more than likely that as I am speaking about this, as the tides, I was trying to think of the All My Children intro, but I couldn't think of it. The point is, they're working on it right now they're doing all the paperwork. That's like the boring stuff. They're doing the signing and the, hey, I need you to look this over and invoice that and fax this and gobbledygook and all that. So they're doing that right now. So we're not going to hear about this for quite some time, although maybe we will. But then again, man, I really don't know. Because if you remember, way back in the day when Triple H was still in charge of NXT and Vince McMahon was still leading the WWE as a whole, right? Triple H was like, yeah, I want to do NXT. What was it? NXT India. He was doing NXT UK, and then he was like, I want to do NXT Japan. But now he's doing NXT. Well, okay. Does Japan count as like Europe? That would count as Europe, no? Because Europe, I would think of, Europe makes me think of like Ireland and the UK and like France, you know? Like, does Japan count as, is it Europe because it's not in the West? I don't know, to be honest. I didn't focus in geography. To be fair, I didn't focus at all, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait and see. Ronda Rousey, next we're going to be talking about her and how she pitched a more extreme finish to her SmackDown Women's title match with Liv Morgan. In a gaming stream on her YouTube channel, Rousey says that she pitched for Morgan to powerbomb her into thumbtacks and for Morgan to pass out in her armbar face down in the tacks, but that unspecified WWE officials nixed the idea. Okay, I pitched the finish to be on thumbtacks. Liv would put down thumbtacks. She powerbombed me onto the thumbtacks. And as a repeat of our finish from before, I'd go for the armbar on the thumbtacks. But they'd start counting the pin. And I'd have to push up onto my one shoulder, like into the thumbtacks to keep the armbar on. And Liv would be biting her hand, trying not to tap, and then pass out face down on the thumbtacks with her hand there to protect her face. But they said, we can't do thumbtacks anymore. Like, legally, we can't purposely injure people and cut their skin and stuff. So I was like, what about little maple leaf pins? They said no. I was like, what about screws? They're on their side on the ground. They said no. Oh my God. I thought I got it. It turns out I didn't. Okay. Rousey also talked about the baseball bat that she and Morgan used in their match, describing the care that she had to take not to injure Morgan in swinging the weapon. It's a bat, you know, you kind of have to be careful how you hit people with it, Rousey said, and I felt bad because Liv was in a position where I had to be whacking her with a bat, and I'm like, if I hit her in the back, I could really mess up her spine, and if I hit her in the rib, I think I'll break her rib, so I'll just keep hitting her in the ass. So I kept whacking the shit out of her butt, so I kind of felt bad, but her butt must look bad. I read that, and I like the idea that Rousey said that, like, oh no, her butt, it looks so bad, maybe I should massage it, you know. I thought that was really funny. This is very interesting. because Rousey came to them and was like, hey, I've got a really extreme spot that I think that we should do, given the fact that it's an Extreme Rules match. And they were like, no. And she was like, okay, well, what about Maple Leaf pins? Now, I'm assuming Maple Leaf pin. I'm going to look that up. Maple Leaf pins. I feel like Maple Leaf pins. What does that look like? Like literally Maple Leaf pins? Like genuine... Hold on a second. I'm confusing myself. Yeah, little Maple Leaf pins. I mean, that's a weird thing to be like pulling out, to be honest. You know what this is reminding me of? So, story time. Way back in the day when I was in elementary school, my mom used to have a set of keys. And on the set of keys, I genuinely think, thinking back now, I think it was actually a Canada Maple Leaf. Because we did go to Canada one time. I remember that. And I always used to chew on it. I don't know why. I would like suck on it. It was just something about the way that it tasted. I don't know. I was a weird kid, man. I was very odd. But I like that they were like, no. Okay, screws. No. They're on the side. You don't have to worry. No, we're not doing that. Fine, you know. If I remember correctly, I didn't really think that the match that Rousey and Liv had was very good, but I mean, I stand by what I say, right? And I think this is like, unfortunately, this is kind of the reason, because if you saw the chair shots and the bat shots and all that, they weren't really like hitting each other. But then when you really think about it, it's the whole thing with everybody getting upset at Chris Jericho. It's like, did you want him to like fall and like break a lot of his bones on like an unforgiving metal surface? Like, did you want Ronda Rousey to just go full on like just absolutely insane with the bat into like Liv's body? Like, I don't think that would be like a good idea, you know? So at the end of the day, the match suffered, but I would rather that than, you know, them having to like go to the emergency room, you know? So that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make, all right? Finally, Cody Rhodes is healing faster than expected after surgery. That's right, boys. He's pulling a John Cena. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that Cody Rhodes, quote, appears to be a little ahead of schedule in healing, and he's currently working with EDP. Things are said to be normal in Rhodes' real life, but any upper body weights he can use are extremely light. It was added that there is, quote, no firm date for a return. Yet, if there is, it will be kept a secret in the end. Cody Rhodes hinted at making his return during the Royal Rumble match next year, so no definite time frame has been given for his return to the ring. We will have to wait and see whether he does return during the event. Yeah, it's coming up on the end of the year. What's it, October? We've got like a whole like 2 months left. No, 3. Wow, man. We've got 3 months left. I mean, if you're injured now, chances are you're not really gonna... You're gonna be... cutting it real close. You're going to be cutting it real close, okay? To be, first of all, to be considered in any storyline, to be organically inserted into a storyline, and to really be like ring ready, you know? So we really have to, I really don't think Cody is coming back this year. I don't think Kenny and the Young Bucks are coming back this year. If you saw the report, was it Wrestling Observer? And they were saying how, they were talking, okay, so Wrestling Observer, update on the Elite and CM Punk. This is a surprise news bit. Regarding the situation with those suspended over the fight, Punk, Young Bucks, Ace Steel, and Omega, none of the 5 have heard anything from AEW. All of the 5 are continuing to get paid, and when you figure the contracts for 4 of the 5 are well in excess of $1 million, the total weekly outlay for people who are not working is enormous. At least one person, not one of the 5, who was there has not been interviewed, and there may be others. Most are frustrated because they want to be back working at this point. Punk may be the exception since he can't work for a long time due to the surgery. None are allowed to speak, but several want to, but have no idea if they will ever be allowed to. Any rumors of anyone being fired, anyone being told they aren't coming back, or anything like that are incorrect as of midweek. Any rumors of anyone being fired, anyone being told they aren't coming back, or anything are incorrect. Okay. So, listen, no matter what you say, Punk is he's still in the air. He is still floating around. None have been given any impression of a timetable. Some thought the Adam Page promo on Dynamite talking about his friends disappearing, Colt Cabana, Stu Grayson, and Alan Angels, and his former friends disappearing, which was in reference to the Bucks and Omega, almost for sure, has a sign that they are being acknowledged and it's settled and they'll be back soon is not the case. Okay, but they did allow the reference, but not the names to be spoken. Okay, alright. So it's the thing of like, it's the thing where they like, they talk about like WWE or something, you know. Yeah, so This I read that because it sort of kind of coincided with the whole Cody thing. Like, there's a very strong chance that like Cody and the rest of them are not going to show up like anytime soon. Don't get your hopes up in seeing them show up by the end of the year, because there's so many things that have to be like set in place first. Like I said, the whole organic storyline thing, even though it's Cody Rhodes, so I feel like he's just going to come back and be like, where's the baddest bad guy? He's right there. Okay, I'm going to fight him and I'm going to win. That's pretty much all he's really going to do, to be totally honest with you. Like, people assume that he was going to, I'm hearing through the grapevine that people think that he's going to be taking on Bray Wyatt when he comes back, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. What do we talk about? Saraya, she was offered, oh god damn it, she was offered a WWE GM role and a chance to wrestle after the deal expired. I'm glad that she didn't take it. Nobody's even doing, we're not even, well, okay, I think that we still have the whole GM role, but it's only being done by like one person. I think, what's his name, Adam Pearce, I think he's doing like the whole shebang, and Sonya Deville is now switched over to being a full-time wrestler, you know, so I'm kind of glad that she didn't take it. I'm very surprised that she was the one who did the health checks, and they didn't even bother to do it. I'm very surprised about that. WWE has announced the plans for a new NXT Europe brand. I mean, we're not going to hear anything about that anytime soon. We have to wait and see, really, like, what comes of it and, like, what direction that they go in. But I am really curious, and to be honest with you, considering how this hasn't even, like, really, like, started yet, to be fairly honest with you, I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. Ronda Rousey wanted to drown Liv Morgan in thumbtacks, and WWE was like, no, man, wait, crazy? And then Ronda's like, fine, I'll just hit her lightly in the butthole with a bat, okay? And then Cody Rhodes is healing faster than expected. Every time I read that, the first person I think about is John Cena, because that's all he used to do. That's all he used to do. Remember when Cena got that weird, like, pustule thing on his elbow? You remember that? I remember when that was growing on him. Like, I remember the first time seeing it, and then it was getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then he addressed it, and I was like, bro, yeah, right, what is that? And then he had to go away, and then he was back, like, really quickly. So, again, though, what did he say? He said, the no firm date for a return. Any upper body weights he can use are extremely light. So, it's gonna be a while before, like, because me and my brother talk about this all the time. When you get injured, you have to get back into shape, and then you have to get back. I mean, for the wrestlers, there's not really like a playoffs. I mean, you really just have to get back into shape, and then you have to get back into like wrestling shape. So you have to get back to zero, and then you have to get back to where you were before. And if you want, you have to exceed that, just so when you get back, it's sort of like it limits your injury and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, man, that's what we talked about. I want to give a shout out to everybody who stopped by. Hopefully, oh yeah, and the Young Bucks thing and the Omega thing, and they're not coming back anytime soon. So all of that is sort of like the Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks and blah blah blah. It's kind of like wrapped up, and like we're probably not going to see them anytime soon. So boys, I'm going to give a shout out to everybody who stopped by. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs all around.